Hi everyone, it's Sasha.
And Justin.
And here we are reviewing some bakeries. We went to two of the most popular San Diego bakeries and we tried some on site and we decided to take our other halves of our goods home and do another full review.
So the two bakeries are Izola Bakery and Assa Bakery. So both Izola and Assa Bakery, they're both right next to each other, like a block away, but they're both located in downtown San Diego. So if you can have time to check out one, you can actually check out both. And we have nitro tea.
And the cold brew. Let's start with an Izola baked good first. So this is one of the ones that we tried.
Yeah, that's the blackberry croissant.
It's so beautiful. Look at that. Has a beautiful shell. The filling is gorgeous. It's really delicious. Let me give it another bite.
So we did try all of this fresh in the bakery as well, but this is our way of testing it literally back to back. We did go to both these places same day, maybe like 20 minutes apart. She lined up at Assa Bakery and I lined up at Izola, and we just met at Izola.
What I really love about the Izola Bakery is a lot of their croissants are very refined, has a beautiful shell. So it's really crispy on the outside, but when you get to the core, it's nice and fluffy. This is a very unique flavor. I've never had anything like this, especially it's a blackberry flavor with some chocolate filling. It's so light. It's very flavorful, but it's not too overpowering.
Blackberry.
I think it's great. I think it's a unique flavor.
Yeah, it looks really pretty. Unique flavor. It's not too overbearing, and it's subtly sweet. But I guess croissants usually aren't supposed to be that sweet anyways. So I would give this a 5 out of 5.
I agree. 5 out of 5. So delicious.
Yeah. So normally the best is, when you eat it fresh, when they can bring it out for you, they reheat it. So it was like nice and warm. But if you bring it home, they also give you reheating instructions. So then you'll know how to redo it as well. That way it doesn't burn or it stays like more fresh tasting.
So this morning when I went to Assa Bakery first, I lined up about 8:15 a.m. There was already a line starting. And at the same time, Justin went ahead and went to Izola Bakery.
Sorry, the background noise, the fighter jet.
Wow! Yeah, I went to Assa Bakery at 8:15 a.m. I started lining up and there was already a short line. So I had this one from Assa Bakery, which is a chocolate custard bun, and it was very delicious. So I'm just gonna have another bite here.
So this one, I guess the unique thing was they have like these little line striations, and it adds like a layer of texture, kind of like a little of a crunch.
I love that texture. I love those striations. It's so nice. It's so fluffy. I can tell that they put a lot of work into it. It's delicious. I really like that one. I'm leaning in between, like maybe a 4.5. I love custard, so I give it a little bit higher just because I enjoy custard.
I'd probably give it, 3.5 to 4.
I want to show you this one. So this is the creamy caviar baguette. It's very unique. I've never had anything like it. You can tell the top, they have caviar baked into the bread. And then if you open it, they do have like a caviar spread. Really delicious.
It's like salty in the caviar. You taste that kind of like salty, fishy flavor, which I like. If you're not used to that kind of flavor, you might be like a little bit too funky.
I love the flavor. I love the texture. The baguette is done beautifully. It's nice and crispy on the outside, nice and fluffy on the inside. I love the smokiness of the baguette because they put the caviar spread on top and they baked it into the bread. So it has that really rich flavor. And I love that spread because it's nice and salty, but it's sweet. So I feel like it hit all the flavor palettes. And it's together, it's savory. You get that umami taste, and I just love it. I give this a 5 out of 5. This is a must try. Never had anything like it. Something you gotta order when you get to the bakery. It's delicious.
I agree. 5 out of 5. This is a Tahitian vanilla knot from Izola. So this is... It is pretty fluffy, almost kind of like a softer dough bread, but it does have like a little bit of a crust, and it's also...
Where are they? It's so cool to watch them too. Like, where are they? Like, I want to see them.
I think they're probably over there.
They're practicing. Oh, they're. Whoa.
Whoa! My phone's dirty. It's like a free air show. And it's kind of like glazed with that Tahitian vanilla. So it does provide like a little bit of texture difference. And it's almost like a donut.
I love the flavor on this.
But for the Tahitian vanilla knot, I'd give that a 5 out of 5.
I agree. 5 out of 5 for the Tahitian vanilla knot. I believe that this is something very unique I've never seen before. And I really appreciate how light. The flavor is nice and light. It's not too overwhelming.
It's not too sweet, but you can taste some of the sweetness.
I agree.
Let's go to one of my favorite from Assa. The curry pan is crispy and toasted on the outside. And on the inside, it's fluffy, and then it has like a filling. It's like a meat curry. It reminds me a lot of the curry pans in Japan, but I feel like Japan still does it better, but it's still at least pretty close. The curry pan, I would give it a 5 out of 5.
So the curry pan, I also give 5 out of 5. It's unique. It's delicious. It has that nice meat, savory taste. I do recommend that request them to heat it up or toast it just so you have a warm curry pan and it'll enhance the flavor a bit more. This is the melon pan from Assa Bakery. It's really light and airy, but I didn't taste a lot of the melon flavor.
So melon pan, normally, I don't think it has too much of a melon flavor. It's supposed to be just lightly sweet. The texture almost reminds me of like a muffin, but it does have like a crust on the outside. It's kind of like reminds me of like those Asian pineapple buns. So those pineapple buns, it doesn't really taste like pineapple. It's just by the look of it. It's supposed to have like that shell, kind of like a little coating on the outside where it creates that sugary flavor with a little texture, and then it's like kind of fluffy on the inside. So the melon pan reminds me of that. I thought that there wasn't too much flavor in the melon pan. It's nice and light sweet, but overall, I didn't care too much for it. It's still worth trying if you're interested, but if you only can choose a few, I'd probably skip on that one.
I do like the texture that it's light, fluffy, and airy, but when it's being called a melon pan, I wanted to taste more of the melon flavor, and I didn't get that. And so that's why I gave it a 3 out of 5 rating.
All right, so we moved into the shade because it was getting way too hot out in the sun. We wanted to have the nice background, but it wasn't worth the heat. So now we're facing inwards so that it doesn't get all blown out or like that our face is too dark.
So this is the Moroccan black olive chocolate croissant. This is so unique to the bakery. I'm gonna go ahead and try it. I give this a 5 out of 5. I think it's very unique. It's beautiful. The flavor is delicious. The texture is delicious as well. I've never had anything like this. It's a Moroccan black olive croissant. It has a black olive flavor and the chocolate in the middle. It's just such a nice balance. It's very unique. Definitely a must try.
Give it a 5 out of 5 too.
This is also from Izola Bakery. This is the almond chocolate croissant. It's so delicious. I'm gonna give another bite. I'm loving this one. I love this croissant. It has a chocolate filling. It has almonds on the top. It's just so delicious. I think this is one of my favorite. I give it a 5 out of 5 because the texture, the shell, it's so delicious, and inside it's ooey gooey, and I really love that chocolate. It's simple, less is more. I love this so much. I will come back for this one as well.
Give it a 5 out of 5. It's a must try for me.
I just love the nutty flavor. Oh, he went in for a second bite. That means it's really good. I like it.
I was about to put it down.
Yes.
And then like, nah, I take one more.
Okay. So this is one of the more popular pastries from Assa. It is a croissant, but it has some custard in the center. And then it is glazed with matcha frosting. And they top it off with little Oreos.
We thought it would actually be like a chocolate dipped spiral croissant, but it turns out I think it tastes more like a
Icing, like a glaze.
a matcha icing. So it's really sweet and it's thicker. It doesn't feel like a little coating. It feels like a little thicker, a little bit more pasty rather than like hardened chocolate. And I was expecting more like a matcha chocolate shell.
Yeah. Because typically when you dip something in chocolate and it cools down, it forms a hard shell. And that's something that we expected. But for these ones, it was more frosting, icing.
Yeah, it tasted more like an icing.
It tasted very sweet.
It's very sweet. I do taste those flavors. I taste the matcha flavor really well, but I think it's too sweet.
So I give it a 4 out of 5. I felt like it was too sweet for me. It has a custard filling, so that was sweet. The texture was beautiful. It looked gorgeous, but it was more sugar than chocolate.
I don't think it had any chocolate.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's chocolate. I think it's literally matcha icing.
Yeah. And I just don't like it. I'm not too fond of the Oreos on top of it. I think that added extra sweetness. It was not balanced at all.
This one, I think they went icing, they went Oreo, went way overboard with the sugar. I still think it's good, but if you don't have a sweet tooth, it's way too sweet. I can't really eat the icing. It's just too sweet for me.
And also, to add on to that, I just don't like the inconsistency of what is being advertised. They did advertise something else. It looked different, and it had like that matcha dip shell. And what we saw and what we got at the shop was Oreo topped with the icing glaze. And that's not what I expected. I'm sure that's not what a lot of customers expect.
Yeah, on the pictures, it shows about maybe half or about a third of the croissant dipped in the matcha or any of the flavorings. But these, in actuality, are about maybe a fifth dipped. Like literally just the outside layer just got dipped. So it definitely didn't match what were our expectations. Flavor is still okay, just still too sweet. But I'd still give it a try. I would still recommend to try. But we'll talk about difficulty later.
Yeah. If you want to go for something that's not as sweet out of the 3 flavors, the matcha, strawberry, and chocolate, I would choose the chocolate one. It's a little bit less sweet.
I think what's funny is that the chocolate one is the least sweet because I think the matcha and the strawberry, they're not really chocolate. I think it's more of an icing, so it's a lot more sugar. And then the chocolate, they just left it as a chocolate. So when you dipped it, it has a little bit less sweetness and it was a little more well-balanced, which is kind of funny because I thought the matcha would be less sweet because matcha is naturally a little bit more bitter.
Yeah, that's right.
They just done a ton of sugar and made it into an icing. If you're gonna go with the chocolate, I know matcha is unique, but unless you really like sweet.
Yeah, I would just definitely try the flavors, see what you like, and then you can comment below and tell us what you think.
Bring extra people though, because they limit 1 per person. 1 spiral croissant per person. And I think they limit to 2 total pastries per person.
This is the strawberry spiral croissant. It has a strawberry glaze on the outside with what was once Oreos, but I just peeled it off because I thought that was a little too much. And then on the inside is delicious custard. I do love custard. So let's give this a try. I give this a 4 out of 5. I do notice that they do have peanuts topped off on the side with the Oreos. So in case you have a peanut allergy, just be aware.
So this is the chocolate spiral croissant from Assa Bakery. Out of the three, among matcha, strawberry, and chocolate, this is probably my favorite one, just because it's not as sweet. It has more of the natural chocolate flavor, and it's not overly sugared. So it still has the same toppings where it has nuts on the top and then an Oreo, which I don't really care for, but give it a try.
It's a little messy, as you can tell. When we're touching the icing, you get a lot of the chocolate, the
Well, this one I
strawberry,
think is
the
just
matcha.
chocolate. I don't think it's icing. This one's just chocolate.
Just chocolate.
Yeah. Ugh. So the chocolate one, I'd give this one a 4.5 out of 5. I think I like it a little bit better than the other spiral croissants. Overall, I think the texture, so it's crunchy on the outside, soft and fluffy on the inside, with the custard in the very center. I think it works well together. So 4.5 out of 5.
Let's talk about our experience at both bakeries.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you the experience overall, our impressions of both Assa Bakery and Izola Bakery. And since we did try both, probably about an hour apart from each other, and we tried them both fresh, and we can give our opinion about what we liked, what we didn't like, and pretty much compare the two heads up.
They're definitely competing against each other because they're only a block and a half away.
Yeah, you can walk to both of them. It's about like a 4-minute walk. It's just literally around the corner.
What I really like about both bakeries is that they are unique in their own style. The Assa Bakery, it is a Japanese bakery, so they are going to emphasize on a lot of Asian flavors, the matcha flavor, matcha drinks as well, and the way that they stylize their pastries.
They also have like the curry pan, melon pan, so they do definitely have Japanese pastries. Or Asian pastries, but Japanese.
And I think they have lunch specials too. I believe after
do.
11:30 a.m. till
Yeah.
closing, they do have like some katsu.
So they start serving sando sandwiches. So they have katsu sando.
It's an egg sandwich.
Yeah, they
egg
have
sando.
the egg sando. So they have different types of sandwiches in the afternoon. But all the morning pastries usually get sold out by around like 11:30. Most of the popular pastries that just came out, like the spiral croissants, those came out at 10:30 a.m. When we got there early, we actually had to line up again when they came out around 10:30. So they actually announced to the entire shop, oh, if you want the spiral or the next pastries that are coming out at 10:30, you want to start lining up now. And everyone just started rushing. So even though we were there for like a couple hours, much earlier, there's people like already waiting in line again. So.
Yeah. Can you imagine? I lined up there at 8:15 a.m. There was already a line, but even the selection was limited. I only was able to get 3 out of the ones that we wanted to try of the popular items. So I went ahead and bought those. It was the curry pan, the melon pan, and it was the chocolate custard bun. And so they told me, hey, we're going to set out our next batch of baked goods in an hour. So just come back in an hour. Like Justin said, we had to line up again. And
we went to Izola, ate there for about an hour.
yes.
And then went back to Assa Bakery. Didn't have anything, but they added one new item, which was the creamy caviar.
Yes.
And so that's the only thing we got.
Yes.
Plus the chocolate ribbon croissant.
Yep. The chocolate ribbon one.
Yeah. And so we just ordered those, and then they said, oh, all the spiral croissant new pastries, they're going to be coming out at 10:30. So we're like, okay, you got to wait again. So it's about another almost hour wait, and then we had to wait in line again. So overall, I didn't like the pacing, the experience.
The customer service was okay. I feel like it could have.
Customer service, honestly, was hit or miss depending on who's serving you. I felt like some of them were a little bit more direct and in a rush.
I felt that some of the customer service was good, that they were very patient and they were very kind and honest and telling us that, hey, we only have these selections. What is available is what you can get. And then that the next batch of pastries will come out in an hour. It just depends. I would say 50% of the staff was very good and the other 50% was in a rush.
Izola, on the other hand, from the beginning, I thought the experience was actually really nice. The line wasn't as crazy. There were still some people in line, but it moved swiftly. There's 2 lines, one for pre-orders and one for just walk-ins. And they were all friendly. They took my order. They were a little shocked that I ordered so much because I was by myself. And then I told them, oh, no, I'm waiting for my wife. They're like, oh, okay, that makes more sense.
No, at the beginning when you were at the counter.
Oh, at the
like,
counter, yeah.
I'm going to order this, and
Yeah,
this.
I think I ordered 2 things because I'm going down the stuff that I wanted because they gave me the menu. And then I said, oh, I want this and this. And I ordered 2 things. And then the worker asked me, like, oh, what do you want to drink with that? And I said, oh, hold on, I'm still ordering some more. And then he's like, oh, of course. And then when I ordered another one, he asked me, okay, well, what do you want to drink with that? And I said, oh, I'm ordering. So I just ordered more. And then I think it clicked in him. And then he's like, oh, okay, you know what? You're going to order a lot. So he just kept going. He's like, okay. Very nice. Once I finished around 5 pastries, then he's like, anything else? And I'm like, no. And he's like, would you like anything to drink? I'm like, oh, no, nothing to drink. And I said, my wife's coming.
And he asked, like, is this for to go or for here?
Yes. In the middle of the order, after I ordered like 2 pastries, he asked me, oh, is this for to go or for here? And I said, oh, it's for here. And then after I finished my order, after I ordered like 5 pastries, and he asked me if I wanted to drink, and I said no. Then he again stated, oh, you wanted this to go, correct? And I said, oh, no, it's for here. And then he looked shocked. He's like, what? And I said, oh, yeah, I'm waiting for my wife. And he's like, oh, okay. I think he looked a little more relieved, probably because he's like, that's a lot of pastries for one person. Mm-hmm. I ordered 5 things from there, and some of these are kind of huge. Like, look at this.
Yeah, they're gigantic.
Like, and so I think he looked relieved when I said another person was coming. He's like, oh, okay, it makes more sense. Mm-hmm. But they're all very nice. We just had a little chuckle about it.
It was wonderful.
Yeah. And then when I got seated, they brought over a beautiful tray. They arranged it very nicely. And then the waitress said, oh, is this for here? And I said, oh, yeah, it's for here. And then she looked shocked too. And I'm like, oh, I'm just waiting for my wife. And then she's like, oh, okay. That makes sense. Most of the people ordered about 1, maybe 2 things. I ordered 5 for one person. It looked like for one person. But really, Sasha was coming and they just didn't know. But then once I told them, everyone kind of like, oh, okay. It's like, whew, that's a lot of butter for one person.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And I really like that they had a wooden slate to put the...
Oh, it's a cutting board. It's a cutting board.
Like a wooden cutting board, so you can put your pastries on it. And they do give you a bread knife.
They purposely give you those knives cutting into the croissant so you don't have to tear it and it looks terrible. So that way when you cut into it, it can, if you're sharing it or if you just want to see the cross section, it looks beautiful. And I really appreciated that you can actually get a knife over there. So
I also appreciated those linen napkins that you can put on your lap. It's very sophisticated. And I really love that the owner of the bakery, Jeffrey, he came out, he greeted all the customers. They actually gave out some croissants for us to take home. It's really nice of them.
Yeah.
Great customer service.
So he said the reason why they're giving these croissants out was because it wasn't up to his standards of the size. And I think it looks pretty good size. Like, it looks like a good, healthy croissant. Like look at this.
Yeah, I love it. It's the size of my face.
Yeah, so if he says that this is not up to his standards, my goodness.
And if you have any questions, it says you can call Jeffrey at this number.
Yes, it does. Oh, he actually put his name on it.
Yeah.
It says, questions? Call Jeffrey. And then his phone number. Let's look at this. It makes it so much easier to hold.
I love it.
It reminds me of those McDonald's Happy Meal boxes.
Yeah.
But much nicer.
Much nicer. I love it. I love the experience. I will go back to Izola. Oh, get yourself a latte or cappuccino while you're there.
I will say the Izola had a more industrial decor. It looks more like an industrial building. Inside was very it had open vents. It had like those
tall windows.
Yeah, tall windows, but they're not decorated a lot. It has that downtown industrial feel. It used more like a patio furniture, which is fine. It's comfortable. Everything was fine. But the Assa bakery, the interior is more of my style. I liked it that it was a little bit more modern, looked a little more clean.
Felt very warm.
It felt, warm. It had some Japanese accents on the wood paneling on the walls. So I liked that aesthetic more. I think that might be a personal preference. Overall, I'd give Izola a 5 out of 5.
Yes, I love it 100%. 5 out of 5 for Izola.
For Assa Bakery, I would give it a 3 out of 5. I thought the pastries, some were very hit or miss, but the overall functioning of the restaurant, I thought they have a lot of kinks to work out. Just the way that the pastries come out, it's almost random of what you're going to be able to purchase. Sometimes they're not going to have a lot of things. Sometimes, especially the more popular items, the staff doesn't know when it's going to come out. I feel like there's a little miscommunication between pastry chef and the staff. So it sounds like the front staff doesn't know anything that's going on in the back. They don't know when it's coming out. I didn't like that. And then to make us pretty much line up 3 times. 3 times. And it's just random. It's like luck. I didn't like that feeling.
Yeah, I didn't like that feeling either because everyone was lined up and they're watching what the people are buying and the people in front of them and seeing what they buy and if there's any left over.
So overall impression, it was kind of frustrating. Going there twice, lining up 3 times, not a fun way to do it. Including the flavor of their pastries, overall experience, I think it's about a 3.5 maybe out of 5.
I agree. 3.5 out of 5. I think you also mentioned because they are a new bakery. They opened up a month ago. Everything is still being worked out. It's not running smoothly yet, especially with training of the staff and making sure all the products are out. From a customer's standpoint, if I go to a bakery right at opening, like even 15 minutes after it opens, I want to be able to see all the products ready to go out the door. But it's not. You only get like
Less than half, actually.
yeah.
Less than half the items when it opened. The other half, so it switched. The stuff that she got in the morning was not available at when we went back around like 10 a.m. So you have to come at different times to try everything. If you want certain things, you got to go in the morning. If you want certain things, you got to go a little bit later in the morning. It's a very weird concept. Honestly, I kind of just wish like, hey, I want to just try what I want to try.
And they said that they only have one baker and they start at 3 a.m. I can't imagine one baker baking the whole day, staggering different types of pastries. That's a lot of work. Well,
Yeah, they have a bottleneck there.
but I will have to say my favorite item from Assa Bakery is this Caviar Baguette. I will come back for this one. I just know that is it worth coming back for this one? There is likelihood that it's not going to be there when I arrive. Am I going to come there at 8 a.m.? Am I going to come there at 10:30 a.m.?
Yeah.
Do I have to come there at 1 or 2 p.m. or do I have to stay there the whole day and just wait for this piece of bread?
Especially knowing Izola is right down the street. I would just go to Izola. Overall, I liked Izola more. It is pricier though. The croissants from Izola versus the spiral croissants or the ribbon croissants from Assa Bakery. I think Assa, it was about $4 to $5. And then for Izola, they're like $7 to $8. So it is quite a big difference. It is bigger though. And I feel like they are more refined.
I think Izola did it better.
If you were to go to one, I would go to Izola. Assa, I feel, has a lot of attention on social media right now. I think it's overhyped, especially before all the kinks are worked out. Try it if you can. Hopefully they have everything that you want to try when you go. If you don't, you can always ask them like when they're going to come out if you're willing to wait for it. But if you only have time for one, Izola.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining us today on our reviews for these 2 bakeries. We really loved having you here and trying these goods. We hope that you get to try them and that you get to enjoy them. Tell us what you think on the comments below.
Bye.
Bye.